You are tuned in to Roctowns' finest on 100.9 FM, WXIRLP in Rochester, New York.
Hey y'all, it's Roctowns' finest on your radio.
Don't forget to check out Real Talk at 6:30 this Saturday and every Saturday. Your boy Jeff Smith, my man Andre Doc, we doing the thing. This Saturday, every Saturday, 6:30, Real Talk.
Yes, Roctowns finest. Jeff, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. What's good with you, though?
I'm just chilling, man.
That's what it is. But today we have a very special show. We got a special guest named Chawn Quelly. He's an uncompromising warrior, a visionary, revolutionary teacher, writer, thinker, student, and a trainer. Sean, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How are you, sir?
I'm great, man. You're a very interesting individual, man. Really, though, man. Before we get into what you stand for and what your theme is, what brought your interest to be into martial arts or self-defense training?
That came at a very young age. Number one, just because self-defense is a must. You have to be able to defend yourself. Coming up in a lot of public education systems and schools, y'all know we get tested. You'll get tested as a young black male. And, my father and elders around me made it mandatory for me to be trained in the art of Wing Chun. And a couple of systems, so it was mandatory.
Wow, that's rare, man. I mean, we all come up in bully-like neighborhoods. I mean, I'm sure there was a bully around. I used to bully Doc, but he never
I didn't forget about that neither.
Right. He should have took a class because I took his lunch money. But anyway, back to you. You are our uncompromising warrior. Tell us exactly what the concept of, I don't want to call it a doctrine. I don't want to call it a cult. What are we calling it?
Well, an uncompromising warrior means you're one who is just like our ancestors, who comes in the spirit of those like Shaka Zulu. You come in the spirit of those like Ya Asantewa, Queen Nzinga. You come in the spirit of like Boukman and Dessalines, where you see the goal all the way through. You know, you're a warrior for your people. And I have that similar purpose to be a warrior for our people in today's time, 2017. So uncompromising means that I can't buck dance, and those that are with me and us, we can't buck dance. We can't genuflect. We can't curtsy. We can't scratch where we don't itch. We can't laugh when ain't nothing funny.
Right.
You have to be uncompromising on your principles. And unfortunately, in 2017, there's a lot of people out here compromising.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally think, I don't want to offend anyone, but, I know that we have a whole bunch of people behind our former POTUS, President of the United States, Barack Obama. And I almost got jumped on Facebook like a few times. You know what I mean? I personally believe, and I'm glad you're talking about uncompromising, because I think he's the epitome of compromising. I call it bullshit-ish, but I think he's the epitome of that. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I understand that people say, well, he's the first black president, we need to stand behind him. And some people even say, call me a coon, because I don't believe that he did what he had supposed to have done. So you being on the show, and I know, you probably will have a better synopsis of what you think and get deeper into it about what you think about Barack. What's your thoughts on that?
Ain't no doubt about it. I think that in terms of the imagery of a quote-unquote powerful black man, powerful black male, black family, black children, I think that he did something that can never be undone in terms of the imagery and being, one of the first to be recognized in the States as the highest office. So that's a plus. I think on the opposite scale of that, I think that when you look at exactly for what Donald Trump is doing right now in terms of signing all these executive orders on behalf of his constituencies and those who support him, he's proving in less than a month that Barack Obama could have done the same for his people, the same for black people and more in 8 years.
And not to cut you off, brother. Doc, did you see my stat on Sunday when I said Donald Trump is running around signing things and making moves and busting power moves, and y'all telling me Obama had limitations on standing up for black people? I mean,
yeah, I didn't see that post.
Yeah, I put the post up. It had 450 comments. You know what I'm saying? And the majority of them were against me. Yo, brother, I'm so glad you said that. So I know I'm not crazy. You know what I mean? But carry on. I'm listening.
You're not crazy at all. In 8 years, of course, we could have had so much legislation and so many executive orders. We could have had complete reparations. There's all kind of things that we could have had with that kind of opportunity that Trump himself is proving in really 10 days or more now. That could have been done in 8 years. And so you're right. There is a stigma there with the Obama legacy of compromise. And I think that to me, he was trying to be too perfect of a president. He was trying to please everybody. But he just did not please black people in the sense of look at our communities. He passed all kind of legislation for the gays and the lesbians, the transgenders, passed all kind of legislation for the Hispanic community and other communities, but he did not put it together for black people. And no matter what people say, it was the black man and women, the working class black men and women, the elderly black men and women, the young black man and woman who put him in office. That's unquestioned. That's unquestioned. So he definitely owed us in that regard for some political power.
And it takes me back to a couple shows ago when we were talking about this situation, even before Donald Trump was signing the office. And Jeff, you were speaking about how, like the black people seeing, okay, we have a black president, so it was kind of like, okay, he's supposed to put us on, and everybody kind of looked at it like that, instead of, even doing stuff we have to do for ourselves, you know what I'm saying,
right.
and being able to.
Right, but see, my thing is, I never looked at Obama like, okay, do something for us. What it is he never even took a stand saying, listen, y'all, okay, when the police was gunning down all these unarmed black men under your watch, and you are an African American president. You never even aggressively addressed that. You never even showed that you were in alliances with Black Lives Matter movement. You never even let it be known, hold on, y'all not gonna do this to my people. I'm gonna give y'all an example. During the time when Italian Americans were being prejudiced, when they were being prejudiced against, when they were going against them and saying all of these people are really crooks and this, that, and the third. Had an Italian became a president, he would have stood for his people and he would have let it be known. Had an Asian been president and they were gunning down Asians, he would have stood for his people and he'd have let it be known. Any other race out here would have stood for their people and would have let it be known, y'all are not going to do my people like this. I mean, it's cool to be politically correct and stand where you stand and not show favoritism just because you black. But at the end of the day, come on, a lot of stuff has been done against your people under your watch.
That's right.
What's good? You never even said nothing. It's not even about. I'm not saying. And then at one time he was saying, okay, even though that George Zimmerman got off, I'm going to pursue him in a civil suit. That never occurred. You never followed through with that. You never did that. You didn't want white people to know that you were pro-black. Being pro-black doesn't mean that you're anti-white. It just means you're pro-black because there's been a white supremacy agenda being pushed in the White House since the White House was built.
That's right.
He got in the White House. He's pushing the same agenda with a black face. He drinks chloride. That's what I call it. And I'm going to tell you how it is at the end of the day.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's the sensationalism of a black man. He shoot a couple jump shots. He hang out with Jay-Z and them. Now all of a sudden, oh, he's a hero. A hero does something. A hero changes something while he's in office. Had Obama really been a hero, we as black people wouldn't be so afraid that Trump is in office because we would be in a better position after 8 years of this guy being there.
Right.
Yeah.
What we call it in the Panther movement, brother, is a historical term called neocolonialism. It's white power and black face. That's exactly what it is. White power and black face. And President Obama, he'll have a legacy, but his legacy will also include being a chief puppeteer, a chief puppet on a string. And he proved that, you know, there are people behind the scenes that he had to answer to. I would say, looking at his history, he did originally try to come out strong. Originally, he tried to come out strong on some of the black issues and spoke up a little bit here and there and called some of the police idiots when they accosted Professor Gates and all kinds of things. But then those behind the scenes started to reel him in. And you could see over the years how his stance began to water down and he began to simmer down to where ultimately he didn't speak out at all. And so he showed that office is a completely controlled office. When you look at President Trump now, you can tell 100%. Here's a man who had no political experience whatsoever, but that he is 100% backed up by an agenda behind the scenes, and he's pushing that agenda forward.
He's pushing his agenda regardless of what people think. But, you know, we're not going to turn this show into an Obama bashing situation. We're going to get back to you, Brother Kweli, man. Listen, I want you to elaborate on one of your quotes when you said, "Black people do not exercise the power of self-determination." Let's elaborate on that, man, because that's interesting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, that's true. In today's time, for the past now couple of centuries, you know, black people have predominantly pushed the white agenda. We predominantly pushed the white power structure. We pushed ideas that did not benefit us as a whole. And that is because of how our social relationship and construct began in this country. We didn't get the same opportunity as other cultures did. Even our African brothers and sisters, where they got a chance to choose whether they would leave in their homelands and coming here to America to improve their life status or the social status or economic status or educational status and go back home on a visa to give to their people and give to their communities. Our ancestors were completely displaced, completely relegated to a servitude condition, completely treated like farm animals and dehumanized, and then made to work free labor, and then called 3/5 of a human being to build this country in this land we call America. And so our social relationship, our social construct is not the same as other cultures. And so that means that for every other people, every other nationality, every other race that has come here to this country from another homeland, another home mass, they've come with the idea of self-determination, to do something for themselves, to do something for their people, to do something for their kind, to build themselves up. We here in America have been put in a survival mode. And so from generation to generation, black people in America have just tried to survive. It's like being on the expressway and you have a 70-mile-an-hour speed limit, but then all 4 of your tires are flat, and then you got your foot on the gas. That's what it's like for black people. You got your foot all the way down on the gas, but all of your tires are flat.
Wow.
Right. That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, and I see that you study just about every religious doctrine and practice, you know, but you don't consider yourself religious, you know.
No, sir. No, sir.
So what do you consider yourself as far as beliefs?
I consider myself an African spiritualist, and that's what's righteous. And the reason why I say that is because all of the world's major religions come from African spirituality. Whether you have Christianity, whether you have Judaism, whether you have Islam, whether you have what you call Hebrew, whether you have Taoism or Buddhism, all of them studied from the mystery schools and the spiritual systems of Africa, every single one of them. And so, you know, for my knowledge and my understanding, of course, through my growth, I personally experienced just about everything, just about every form of religion. Most of us in America come up Christians, and my mother, devout Christian, at one point had us going to church all the time. I'm talking about one of them churches where you was there all day. You didn't even see your home until probably early Monday morning, right? And so came up in the Christian background, had some experience in the Muslim background with the Nation of Islam at different points, had experience with the Buddhist background. I've experienced everything, which pretty much gave me a well-rounded view of where people's religions and spiritualities come from. The issue I had with it was that if all of the books agree, all of the religious doctrines agree that the main goal of man, the main goal of woman is peace, contentment, freedom, justice, and equality. All the prophets of God, all of those who were sent by God came bearing the same message, just at different times, in different spaces, with different languages. If they all agreed that there was one common reality for man and woman, or the original man and original woman, there shouldn't be all this confusion over how to get to heaven, how to have peace, how to have contentment, how to have land, how to have justice. Shouldn't be all this confusion. The confusion comes in when men and women try to manipulate the word, when they change the Bible, when the Arabs use the Quran to enslave Africans and different things like that. And so as a black man and as a man of African descent, I have to grab hold of what my forefathers and foremothers had that made us successful, that made us the kings and the queens and the rulers before we were subjugated by other people.
Right. And we had a guest on the show. She wrote a book called Apprehended, and she basically grew up, her parents are preachers of the church, and she kind of she studied religion, and she's now a professor at one of the schools in Atlanta somewhere. And she was speaking about basically something near the same sort of, like, you don't have to, there's no certain rules you have to go by in order to be a Christian. There's no certain, they might tell you, oh, you didn't do this, you're not a Christian, So that was kind of similar to what she was talking about. And you don't have to necessarily do everything they say and give them all your money and all of that stuff just because you want to be a Christian.
Well, I don't want the listening audience to be confused. I'm not bashing anybody's particular religion or walk of life. All of them have good principles, and all of them can be used for liberation and purification purposes. What we're drawing here is that we're saying that religion has been used as a weapon against the masses of people, from Christianity to Islam to Judaism. It has been used as a subjugation weapon. And a political, social, religious weapon against black people. The Ku Klux Klan enslaved. The Ku Klux Klan lynched. The Ku Klux Klan hung black people in the name of Christianity. Neo-Nazis scream white power in the name of religion and Christianity. You understand what I'm saying? White Arabs today, right now in the Middle East, brutalize the black African, brutalize the Ethiopian, brutalize those who claim the same religion as them because of the darkness of our skin. So there is a racial weapon that has been used in religion that I don't agree with and will never agree with unless it is done from our African perspective, which brings about a harmony and a peace.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to read another quote from you. You say we deal with our problems from a powerless position. I understand that. Like, without the wealth, we really have no power. But I really want to ask you, what do you think it would take to turn things around in these, in I would say, impoverished communities amongst our African Americans? What do you think it would take?
That's such a great question. First and foremost, without sounding so cliche, of course, it takes education. But I don't say that it's the education of our former slave masters or we call the killing fields of America. It is a knowledge of ourselves, who we are, what our culture is, and what we are supposed to do in the present day time as a people. We have to have that kind of education first and foremost. And we have to get rid of the self-hatred that is within ourselves. The so-called ghettos of America are a byproduct of the self-hatred that has been embedded in us from slavery. We have carried generations of self-hatred among ourselves. And then when you couple that with the chemical and biological warfare targeted at our people, which is the crack cocaine, and which is now the heroin, and which is the pills and other things that are made scientifically in the laboratories of white America, when you couple that with the malt liquor, when you couple that with the social engineering used in music and hip-hop and other forms of technology, that's what produces what you have in the so-called ghetto or the predominant black areas of America. So a proper education, which will teach us our true history and her story, will take us out of this condition, because we don't really know who in the hell we are. We've been given our images from this country on television. We've been given our images from this country through music. We've been given our images through movies and other avenues that don't teach us about ourselves. It shows us in a savage condition. It shows us in a ignorant condition. It shows us in a miseducated condition. It shows us in the lowest form of human nature, but these images don't show us our true selves. If the black community can learn who the hell we are, and then we take control of our own community, meaning we take charge of the block, we take charge of our babies, we take charge of our neighborhoods, we take charge and invest in a black nationalist way to control our politicians and control our economics, we clean up our communities almost overnight.
Wow. Yeah, that's about right, man. That's about right, brother. What do you suggest? Like, as a okay, the state we in right now, the average household has a mom, no dad, may have two sons. One may be in prison, one may be in the streets, may have a daughter that's on her way to being a single mom. I mean, this is the condition we're in, and you're saying what we have to do. Obviously, the woman is going to have to take the stand right now, because most of our black men, not saying most of us, but a lot of us are off track right now. We off track. The family is the strength. A lot of black men are not in the family. We're not heading the family. So to instill knowledge of self into the children, and to understand that most knowledge that they obtain has to be self-reached when it comes to our heritage. To give them that, it has to come from the mom.
Yeah, absolutely. The mother's the first teacher. Go ahead. I want to cut your question off.
I mean, because I get into this a lot, and the ladies are complaining, well, if men did what they're supposed to do. And I said, okay, well, how could a man raise a family when his dad wasn't there? So because the importance of a male role model is no longer to him. He's like, well, it's not that important. My mom raised me by herself, so I could leave my baby mom to raise those kids by. So it's ever in the cycle. So the women say, well, if the man would stand up, and then I say, well, if the woman would raise her son to raise his family, so it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Where do we start at? You understand? So, like, and the women are always blaming the men blaming the women. And so I'm asking you, what do you think needs to be done, needs to be instilled to make our people start reaching for education? And like you said, not the killing fields education, the education that we need to have knowledge of ourselves so we can learn to love ourselves. Where do we start?
Yeah. It's got to be made more interesting. I mean, in most educational paradigms today, it's being promoted and taught in a very drab, boring way. And just like when you take a picture, photograph, or when most people today take selfies, when you take a picture or photograph, the first person you look for in that photograph is yourself. Okay, so in terms of education, if you're learning about something, if you're learning about a system, if you're learning about some type of ideology or whatever it is, you have to be able to see yourself in that educational paradigm. And the way that education is being taught in the public education system, in the universities and colleges, it's not being taught to black people. I'm talking specifically, it's not being taught to black people in a way to where we can relate to it ourselves. We have to literally put ourselves in a white paradigm or Caucasian paradigm or a white mindset to be able to understand the way that they're teaching it. Okay, and that's why most young black males and females today are having problems. Many, not all, but many are having problems in high school, having problems in middle school. They're having problems because they can't see themselves. They can't see their reality. We can't see our reality in their educational paradigm. So we got to make the education a fun education, brother. It's got to be an edutainment where you can take the culture of our people, the rhythm of our people, the soul of our people, the spirit of our people, and put that in an educational form. And I mean, even teach that down to the babies, down to the youngest baby, up to the teenagers and up to the adults. It's got to be made in a fun paradigm to where we can see ourselves, where we can relate to what's going on. Because right now, it's not really the teacher that's teaching most of these young black males. It's the brother on the block. It's the sister on the block. It's not the family unit that we used to have in the 50s and the 40s and whatnot. It's not the Cosby-style unit image that you see nowadays. Most of the families are scattered families. As you talked about, the mothers having to predominantly raise most of the black families and the father not being there. The first thing on that is we got to stop blaming each other. We got to put, as my Black Power general, the Honorable Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad used to always tell us, we got to put the blame squarely where the blame belongs. The blame does not belong on the mother, and the blame doesn't necessarily belong on the father either. You got to go all the way back to Willie Lynch and the making of a slave, who said that he would divide the young from the old. He would divide the male from the female. He would divide the light from the dark on differences. And that's the way that he would keep them enslaved. See, when they don't have that kind of information, and when the average black man and woman don't have that kind of information, we point fingers at each other. So we say, no, woman, you're the problem. No, father, you're the problem. No, this is the problem. They're placing the blame exactly where the blame belongs. Society and the system of this order has broken the black family. And so in order to rebuild the black family, we got to know who broke the black family.
Right. Wow. That's powerful. There you have it, people. I mean, like, and that answers a lot of questions, because when you keep pointing your finger and placing the blame, you got to go to the source. You have to take it to the source. Just like everything that's going on in the black communities, when they say, well, why are we doing this? Why are we doing it? Take it to the source. I mean, I don't want to sound like a person that says, I'm blaming the white man for everything. That's at the end of the day, all our problems, when you look at the source, it comes from this man. It comes from this situation. I'm not saying that all white people are evil. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, the first transatlantic slave ship that took place and brought us back over here, that was the beginning of a whole discombobulation of a race.
That's right.
So how could you hold people captive so long and set them free and expect them to behave normal? I mean, we have this in our genetics. Like, it's just crazy. It's like a science project that they did, and this is the result. You know, and like you said, we have to educate our children to let them know not that we are here, but why we are here, why this is like this. You
right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say on that to the radio listener audience, and maybe even to the whites who are listening. White people know what their ancestors have done. Now, certainly, the average white man and woman is not responsible for slavery or the transatlantic slave trade today, and so we can't place the weight of that on the average white man, working class white man and woman today. But let's not delude ourselves and act like white people don't know what happened to us. It's just like when the Jewish community shows Schindler's List every single year. They remind you every single year about what their people went through, and the people, the Germans, who put them in that condition. They have no problem saying the Germans put us in concentration camp. The Germans made our Jewish community suffer. The Germans turned our babies into soap and wore our babies and children like jewelry and things. They have no problem pointing out who is responsible for their issues. And so when it comes to black people, then all of a sudden we got to put all kind of disclaimers out there and say, well, I'm not trying to sound racist. I'm not trying to be a hater. But no, you got to be able to play squarely that in 1555, our people were enslaved and brought here to the shores of North America as captives by white people. So you got to be able to say that. But then we got to be able to move beyond that into some growth and development. We got to be able to say, okay, this is what's happened to us. Now, how do we get from this condition and go forward?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely, man.
And what kills me is the way people are acting right now with all the Black Lives Matter and all of this stuff. It's crazy because they take a stand when it's something like that happening, but then yet we're still fighting each other, we're still killing each other, and it's like if the lives matter, it should matter enough for us to take care of ourselves, so us to stick together and find our roots and do what we have to do to come out of this, because it just don't make sense to me.
I think that Black Lives Matter is a great hashtag. I was there. We was on the ground. The Panther Party was there on the ground in Ferguson. When Mike Brown's body wasn't even in the ground yet. We were there on the ground. Had to deal with the National Guard out there and the riot police who were antagonizing the people. All that stuff that was happening out there. Tear gas canisters, rubber bullets, all that stuff that was happening at that time. And at that beginning, Black Lives Matter was not even a national organization. There was a handful of activists from the St. Louis area and the Ferguson area who were determined to organize for change long before it became a national platform. And it is unfortunate now that the Black Lives Matter as a movement has become subjugated and, in our view, compromised, for the dollar, if you look at it. But it is a great hashtag, and it is a great rally cry and a battle cry. But it is a damn shame in 2017 that we have to have a hashtag movement or a social movement that even identifies that our lives matter. That is a damn shame. It is a crying disgrace that we as a people have to, in 2017, say our lives matter. And then even in us saying our lives matter, you still have people saying, okay, your lives matter, but. Okay, that's ridiculous. Of course our lives matter, but our lives can't matter to the point where we're just begging the oppressor, where we're just begging the establishment to recognize us as human beings. Our lives have to matter to us, and our critique in the party is that for Black Lives Matter, if you want to make the biggest difference, you can't just make the biggest difference with socially charged national events. When a socially charged national event happens, then everybody wants to rally. You got to be in the grassroots on a daily basis in the black community, in oppressed people's communities, working on the grassroots level, when there's no cameras, when there's no national acclaim, when you don't get a pat on the back, when you don't get big funding and big dollars. That's when the work counts, and that's what we need more people to do, and we're trying to invite more people to do that kind of work instead of the big camera work.
I have brothers like Brother Polite and Dr. Umar Johnson. I think that they I picked some of the stuff that they say, and some of it is useful to me. What do you think about Umar Johnson first?
I think that Brother Umar Johnson is a brilliant black man. I think he's a brilliant black man who has been able to tap on a vein in terms of education and the abuse of children in the educational system that previously was left undealt with, unhandled, unused. I think that he has been able to make a national and international platform for himself, and I think that he has the ability to be a very transformative leader in the field of Pan-Africanism for our people. I would hope that, and I know Brother Umar, I would hope that Dr. Johnson stays focused out there, because we know the history of COINTELPRO, and we know that counterintelligence doesn't just work against the black nationalist organizations such as what I have and am in, but the COINTELPRO works against all progressive leaders, black leaders, brown leaders, and all progressives who are desirous to unite our people. And so we hope that, and it's my hope that he stays focused out there and avoids the many traps that are set up for him out there. I did see him going through a little tiff, a little tussle a few weeks back, and it's not a good look. It's not a good look when you're trying to invite our people to believe in you and trust in you and send their children, our children, to your school, and then you lose your cool. Now, we are human, but it's not a good look when you let somebody push your buttons to so much to the point to where you come out of your character, and then you make yourself appear to be something other than the genuine brother that you are. And so we want Brother and Dr. Umar Johnson, of course, to stay focused and to stay squarely on the mission of raising the school and to give the people the school that they have long desired for and long need. Because it's well overdue.
Brother, you're a very brilliant person, man, and we really appreciate you coming through. I just want you to give a summary of what you stand for and what your theme is and what you're really trying to do before you leave this earth.
Yes, sir. Well, to summarize, I hold the position and title of National Chief of Staff within the new Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. I hold the ideology of revolutionary black nationalism and Pan-Africanism. And my goal and heart's desire is to see our people united and to see us free and independent, a self-determining people who can provide for ourselves, and that we can quit begging others to do what we have to do for ourselves. And so before I am ever blessed to have to go to the realm of the ancestors, or what we call the Egungun in African tradition, I want our people to stand up. Our mission is to build a black power movement in the spirit of the Honorable Kwame Ture, in the spirit of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, in the spirit of Kwame Nkrumah and others. We must build for black power. As a black man and black woman, I'm talking to us, we must build for black power. We must define, develop, and defend what's in our best interest as a people, just like others have done for self. And so my mission and our mission here in the hells and smells of North America is to transform our condition and transform our living minds and mentalities.
Right. Okay.
Basically, the brother said, get your mind right out there.
Right. And before we get out of here, I want you to let them know how they can check you out, because I see you have the Black Power Radio going on. You have an international weekly broadcast. How can people hear your show? Yes, sir. Every Monday night on blogtalkradio.com / either Freedom or Death or Black Power Live. blogtalkradio.com / Freedom or Death or Black Power Live. You can hear our international broadcast, Black Power Radio. It is our official platform for all things Black Power, all things Black unity, all things Black love, all things Pan-African. And it's uncompromising. So some nights you will hear some of the boldest truth, some of the boldest reality, and some of the boldest political positions to be heard anywhere in this country or anywhere in the world. And that's every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on blogtalkradio.com. And also to join the movement, which again, we are right now interviewing and processing for every state right now. We want to raise a core Central Black Power Committee in every state, and at least a core group of no less than 11 for every single state. We don't need 50, we don't need 1,000, we don't need 1,000,000. If we get more, that's fine. But we want at least a core group of at least 12 in every state who will push a pro-black agenda and have our minds, our hearts, our spirit and souls in the forefront of the agenda, so that we don't have to repeat what we missed the last 8 years with President Obama. We got to put a pro-black agenda on the map and on the table. And so we want to build a movement in every city with the Panther in mind, the spirit in all honor to the original Black Panther Party. And so you give us a call at 347-903-0886, 347-903-0886. Our website is newblackpanther.org, newblackpanther.org. I spend a special shout out to our national chairman, General Minister Hashim Mazing, and all the comrades and soldiers who are pushing hard to build this movement, because I'm not doing it by myself, but I'm just one of the components. All right, that's what's up. So we enjoyed you. You enlightened us. I know you enlightened me. I don't know about Jeff. He a little hard-headed.
Oh man,
you enlightened me though.
I enjoy being here.
Hey, yo, I personally appreciate you, man, really, because you let me know that I'm not insane. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like everybody else was just totally against me when it came to this Barack Obama thing. And I know you got to go. We're going to let you go. But I just want to let you know, man, I personally appreciate you. And I know the doc probably lightweight appreciate some kind of education sometime too. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate I appreciate both of you brothers for opening up this platform to us. It is so refreshing to find revolutionary, uncompromising brothers like yourself who are using the field of radio and technology to spread this type of information. We need to do it more. I ask everybody to continue to support this broadcast, support everything that they do, and continue to help, not just with lip service, but with action. Thank you, brothers, so much.
Absolutely, Brother Quelly, we're definitely gonna have you back again, man. Anyway, yeah, that's right. Y'all check out Brother Quelly on Black Power Radio, and y'all check us out on Roctowns Finest and Real Talk Radio every Saturday at 6:30. Well, 6 o'clock to 8, but Real Talk comes in at 6:30, and we're gonna check you out next time. Peace.
Hey, y'all. It's Roctowns Finest on your radio.
Don't forget to check out Real Talk at 6:30 this Saturday and every Saturday. Your boy Jeff Smith, my man Andre Doc, we doing the thing. This Saturday, every Saturday, 6:30, Real Talk.
You are tuned in to Roctowns Finest on 100.9 FM, WXIRLP in Rochester, New York.